Do you live here?
He used to.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2022 horror thriller Mid-Century, a film that is directed by Sonia O'Hara and it stars Shane West, Chelsea Gilligan, Sarah Hay, Stephen Lang and Bruce Dern. And the film focuses on a young married couple, Tom and Alice, played by Chelsea Gilligan and Shane West. Alice is a doctor and the Shane West character, Tom, is an architect. And he's looking for inspiration, so they decide to rent a well-known designed house from the 50s that was designed by the famed architect Frederick Banner, played by Stephen Lang. However, once they move in, some strange occurrences start happening, and it would seem that Frederick Banner is pursuing them from beyond the grave. Right, what are my thoughts on Mid-Century? Well, this is actually a bit of an odd film. Overall, it's a little bit off tonally. Gets a little bit silly by the end, but it is grounded by what I think is solid performances and some slick production values. While this is not like a micro-budgeted film or anything like that, it's obviously not a high-budgeted film either. So it kind of slips under that radar, and it is low budget, but like I say, it's got a high level of polish to it. It's competently made, well directed, and it's got some solid performances. So it has all of that going for it, but none of that means anything really if you don't really have a good idea. And that's when this film starts falling down, because it's full of unoriginal ideas that has been done before and done better by other films. For a start, the old trope of, a young married couple moving into a sinister house that is haunted is obviously not new. I'm going to try and do this review without giving spoilers away, but I'm going to have to talk a little bit about stuff that happened in the film to kind of give it some context, really. What they try and do differently here in the film is they are being pursued from the Stephen Lang character from beyond the grave, who liked nothing more. When families moved into the neighbourhood into the 50s, the houses that he designed and things like that, he used to essentially stalk the women and end up killing the husband, sort of thing, because he wanted the wives all for himself. So not a nice fella, I think that's fair to say. So he's stalking them from beyond the grave, trying to redo that cycle. But he's also, there is someone in the physical form, who I won't spoil who that is, who is also working in conjunction with the Stephen Lang character. So it's kind of coming at him from both angles, from the supernatural angle and the physical angle. And it doesn't really work. It gets a bit confused, and it gets a little bit jarring and a little bit silly, because the film's kind of chock full of flashbacks, and I'm not keen on flashbacks at the best of time. Okay, I accept that this film probably needed a small amount of them to kind of flesh out the Stephen Lang character, but maybe not as much as they put into the film. I think the kind of over-explain or over-show or whatever you want to call it. And it just gets a little bit, as I've said, really a bit silly. It's almost like some kind of weird ghostly soap opera that's crossed with ghost. And this is what I mean by it gets a bit silly. There's a character that dies in the film who then starts learning from another spirit how to be a spirit, but like the Patrick Swayze character did in Ghost, how to move things about, how to possess other bodies, all this kind of stuff. And it just seemed a little bit odd and weird in regards to presenting a ghost film. It's like, is this a haunted house film? Is this a stalking film? From a ghostly perspective and a physical perspective. Is it a thriller? Is it a horror? It doesn't really know or put its hat on any particular thing. And for that reason, it doesn't succeed at anything it tries to do, I don't think. It's not scary. I didn't find it scary. And it's not really tense either, because it's all too predictable, unfortunately. And it's too long as well. The film is like an hour and 45 minutes. They could have shaved off a good 10 or 15 minutes off this film to move it along a little bit faster, because the first 30 minutes or so are dull, I suppose it's fair for me to say that. And the characters, while they are adequately performed, are not particularly interesting characters. So yeah, and it's one of those films as well where the main characters, and certainly the Shane West character, is like investigating the house and the goings on and stuff. But he's finding out stuff that we already know, so it's kind of dull to us. His investigating it's just not an interesting aspect of the film. So we get a fairly unbalanced film here. Like I say, good production values, adequately made, decent performances, a decent amount of polish to the film. But the film is definitely let down by its overuse of like tropes and plot devices that we've seen before in movies like this. But saying that, it's always nice to see Stephen Lang playing like a villainous character in films, and he's absolutely fine here as well. And the film is certainly not anywhere near as bad as I was maybe expecting it to be. It was certainly watchable. It just didn't deliver really for my aspect. So I'm going to give this one a 4.5 out of 10. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching. And of course, I'll be back with more content on the channel very, very soon.